created a segment called Tomorrow's Headlines Today. Jets, Dolphins. I think I know where you're leaning.
Boy, Colin, a lot of Jets news here in the last hour that we'll get to shortly. It ain't great. The headline will be just the two of us beat the Jets. Don't need to try. That not my best singing voice there ever, but this is blowout city.
Yeah.
Here's the news on the Jets recently. So C.J. Mosley, their middle linebacker, tackling machine, he just went on IR. Sauce Gardner and Breece Hall not practicing all week. They're listed as doubtful. There is a Reddit board report you'll love that some guy who was at the hospital in New York saw Breece Hall and thinks he's getting an MRI, thinks the Jets are shutting him down. That's where we are with the Jets right now. Reddit board speculation. Bottom line, this smells like a quit by the Jets. Yeah. I mean, that collapse against the Seahawks was awful. Would not be surprised. What's the over-under on Tyrod Taylor's snaps for the Jets this week? Honestly, why not? I don't see it. McDaniel, we know against teams over 500, he struggles, 1-15. And then he just obliterates the bad teams. That's what the Dolphins do. They're front runners. I kind of wouldn't be surprised by like a 49-7, 49-10. Jets just roll over. So I'm on the Dolphins here, Colin.
Tomorrow's headlines today. This was a stay-away game for me. Panthers at the Eagles on Fox.
Why don't you want to stay away from this?
Well, I like watching Bryce Young.
Rising Bryce Young, ascending, if you will, trying to catch C.J. Stroud. The headline will be the Bryce of eggs. Panthers face Philly inflation. Folks, this is a big line, but the number's climbing. I see 13. Listen, Philadelphia is the best running game in the league. You want to guess who has a bottom 3 run defense in the league? Carolina. They made Bucky Irving look like Eric Dickerson last week. He went crazy. This feels like Eagles run away, and I believe Philly will be able to save some of their guys in the fourth quarter. You know, you might want to rest them for the big matchup against the Steelers, the intrastate battle next week. The only caution here is the Eagles have faced 2 bad teams earlier this year at home. Big spread against Jacksonville and Cleveland. Didn't cover in each one, kind of went through the motions. You didn't see a fully locked-in, bought-in Eagles team, but this feels like a different team. Remember you did a story about since the bye week, Hurts and Sirianni kind of got on the same page. They're rolling.
Yeah.
And that win over the Ravens was impressive. They smacked your Bengals around. I like the Eagles a lot this week.
Tomorrow's headlines today. The banged-up Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs.
You know, I like the Chargers. Went to that game against the Ravens, and they were in good position to win. Could not pull it off. I faded them last week. Didn't work out. I'm going to try it again. The headline will be Pacheco's imbalances. Chiefs separate Chargers power. This is just not good. I'm looking at Ladd McConkey reports today. Still has not practiced. There is major question if he's going to go. And listen, no J.K. Dobbins last week. No run game. They didn't have 200 yards of offense against the Falcons. Gus Edwards, who I like, my kids met him when we went to a Chargers preseason thing. Gus Edwards is running like he's got a piano on his back. He's hitting the line like, what am I doing? Like super slow. Colin, I'm worried that the Chiefs kind of regain form here after that horrific performance against the Raiders. But I've been saying that for a while. Chiefs, 6 straight games, no covers. I just don't know if the Chargers can do it. There's some numbers on McConkey about how much of a difference maker he is. Colin, against man coverage, he's one of the best receivers in the league this year. He's super shifty. But if he's not there, who you got? Quentin Johnston?
Yeah.
Like Palmer? I don't like it, so I'm going Chiefs here. Favored by 4.
Let's pivot to college football. Tomorrow's headlines today. Texas, Georgia. What say you?
Okay. So Urban Meyer said something very interesting in that interview earlier this hour about how Texas is kind of returning some of their tickets. This is going to be a major Georgia home game in Athens. The headline will be Sarknado. SEC East broom sweeps Wicked West foe. Sadly, I have Georgia winning this game. Yeah, I like Texas a lot. I'm rooting. I think they can still win the Natty. It's just not a great matchup. Now, this will be a Georgia home game. I'm anticipating 80-20 crowd. You go online, tickets can be had. And by the way, the Georgia fight song, Glory, Glory, pretty darn good. You remember the one from elementary school, Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, Teacher hit me with the ruler? I know you know.
Yeah, I never got hit with a ruler. I was a good kid.
But I do, it's going to be a scene there. Georgia's been to the SEC title game 4 years in a row.
Very familiar territory.
The argument you made about 8 overtimes and a gas defense, that's very credible. But Texas had an emotional game on the road in College Station. They needed to pull that one out late. This is probably the best game of the weekend, and we could see it again of round 3 in the college football playoff. But I'm on Georgia here.
Tomorrow's headline today: the Ducks and the Nittany Lions. What's What's on the agenda for you?
Yeah, we just talked about Dan Lanning, great coach. James Franklin, very good, but doesn't have the respect because he never wins.
Not the big ones. He struggles in the big ones.
The headline here, Will B. Count Quackula. Ducks year one is fantastic. I'm going to go Oregon winning, but close. I bet Penn State. I think this is a 3-point game either way.
Yeah.
Penn State keeps this close with this kid, Tyler Warren. So we talked about Brock Bowers being an amazing tight end. That kid Warren, he destroyed USC.
He had 17 catches against the Trojans.
He's 6'6", 260. Now, I don't know what he's going to run at the combine, but I'm just telling you, this kid Warren lines up at the backfield, out wide. I mean, he is such a weapon, one of the best players in college football I've seen all season.
Yeah.
So I think he can help keep it close. But Oregon with Gabriel, man, they're
really fun to watch.
They're good. I don't know. What's their best win outside of playing Ohio State at home? Like the Wisconsin game, they didn't really dominate that game.